Hi, Jamie. Welcome to Marketing Matters. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you, Tiffany? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. Thank you for joining our first Marketing Matters podcast. I know it's kind of difficult to carve out time in your day just to be a part of something so small right now and something so new. So I do appreciate that.
Oh my gosh, no, this is amazing. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you for asking me. And this is going to bless a lot of lives, your podcast. So people who get to join in and listen to you every week, they're going to be the blessed one. So I'm happy to be here.
I hope so. That's pretty much what I'm in it for, is to give people a little bit of insight as to how they can make this whole business thing go just a little easier for them. Jamie is the founder of Tailor Made Life. The Tailor Made Life is designed for those who want to style their own life by finding confidence and balance of mind, body, and career. Jamie started to design her own tailor made life after realizing it was time to stop letting the important things in life pass her by. Please join me in welcoming Jamie to Marketing Matters. So, Jamie, you and I met at a Chamber of Commerce a few months ago, and you always caught my attention because when you entered the room, you always had a smile on your face. You were always so poised and well dressed. Tell me, how are you able to exude such a ray of positivity just by entering a room?
Oh my gosh, that's such a compliment. Thank you so very much for that. I appreciate that. Here's the thing. I think that we can show up as our best version of ourselves, even sometimes it might be hard, you know?
Mhm.
Sometimes we're gonna be going through things, but like it doesn't take any extra effort to smile at somebody.
Mhm.
And I believe in just being as positive as possible for myself, for my own energy, and to also like spread that to other people. So I heard once that like your smile, if you give a smile away, it could be maybe the only smile that somebody gets that day. So if I can smile at one person and it makes them smile as well, that just makes me feel good. So to be honest with you, I just prefer to stay as positive as possible. Doesn't mean that things are always rainbows and butterflies, but by all means, um, smiling can really, make a difference, I think.
Good, good. I totally agree. I mean, you and I have children, and it's always not the best start of the day, depending on what mood they're in. So I totally agree. If you can give a smile to someone, just as you encounter them, first time encounter or multiple times, I think it makes you and the other person feel great.
Yes, I love that.
Um, so, what led you to the tailor-made life?
So my background is actually in the fashion industry, and I worked in the fashion retail industry for many years. And my particular role with the one company I worked for, I managed the custom clothing business for the company. So I was really focused in on tailor made details, very customized approach to the wardrobe. And I just was from a bird's eye view, I just thought, gosh, I'm creating these tailor-made wardrobes for people. I really should start designing my own tailor-made life. And
Mm-hmm.
that made me really take a step back and figure out what was important to me in terms of how I wanted my days to look like, what I wanted my life to look like. And I really focused in first and foremost on my health and my nutrition because your health is your greatest wealth, and without having the right energy, without feeling the most confident in your own skin, things can be hard. So I looked at my health, and then I looked at my career, and I looked at my family life, and I just decided to really be the one that was going to be in control and manage my days the way I wanted to manage my days.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you just wake up one day and say, "Hey, this is how I see this," or did it take some time? Did you write down some notes, or how did
Great
you?
question. No, I was on a speaking panel last night, and I said, I am not a risk taker. I'm not someone who's just like, I'm just going to totally quit my job today, or I'm going to start my own
Right.
business. Like, that's just not really the way that I roll. So this
Mhm.
was a progressive decision for me. As I mentioned, I worked in the corporate America setting. I was in that industry for 11 years. I was a mom of three. I still am, but my girls were really young at the time. And I, was realizing that even though I loved what I did in my career, my priorities had significantly shifted. And I was spending so much time traveling, working away from my family, away from my home. And that just wasn't the life I wanted. So I was looking for new ways. I was kind of open to other opportunities. And for me, what happened was I was introduced to the network marketing industry, which is where I operate now. And so I kind of fell into that company, the company that I'm a part of, simply because I was looking for better nutrition and I was looking for more energy. And I had no idea that there was an opportunity associated with it until I was ready to look at it. So once I kind of, I did have an aha moment in my life. If you want me to talk about that, I can. But I had that moment in my career, and this was, this was in November of 2013. So almost 6 years ago. And at that time I said to myself, if I work as hard for myself as I do for my boss, I know that I can be successful. I knew I could do it. I just honestly wasn't working hard enough on my own business. And that's really was my breaking moment when I just said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go all in. I'm going to work hard for myself, partner with this network marketing company, and I'm going to be successful. And that was 6 years ago. So it's been an amazing journey over the last 6 years.
Good, good. And what was your aha moment? I'm always interested in those aha moments.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was on a business trip up in Rochester, New York, and I had to fly up there. So by the time my flight delayed, there was a blizzard. And this was, like I said, it was in the middle of November.
Wow.
And I landed and I had to get into a smoke-filled rental car. And this was way before Uber, right? So I had to rent a car. It was stinky and smoky. It was 11 o'clock at night. I had to drive down the snowy highway to sleep in yet another unfamiliar hotel. At that moment where I was like, I'm so done with this. Like, if I work as hard for myself as I do for my boss, I know that I can be successful. And I got to the hotel safely that night and I called my husband and I said, babe, I'm going to go all in with this company. I'm going to do it. And he was like, okay, like we're going to figure this out, and it took several months for me to actually make the decision and to step away from my job and to resign. But it was that moment in time that I decided to stop treating this as like a hobby and to start treating it more like a business. And that's when I made that shift. And I started to, prioritize my time and to make sure that I was really working hard on my quote unquote side hustle while I was working a full-time job and still a mom of three girls under 3. So that's what I did.
Nice. Very nice. What do you, I'm still thinking about the smoke-filled car, so I'm a little stuck there, but that will definitely give you an aha moment for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think your unique skill is that has helped you get to the point where you are today?
Gosh. I think when I became an entrepreneur, I had to really just learn so many new skills. But one of the things that I think is so important, specifically in what I do, specifically being a professional in the network marketing industry, I think it's super important for people to realize that, like, I'm just a normal person. And I think relatability is so important because in the world that we live in today, filled with beautiful filters and perfect photos, it's hard to really realize if the person behind the Facebook page or the Instagram account is real. And, I'm all about pretty photos of my girls and my family and my lifestyle. Like, I love that. I love to support, photographers and have them come in and like take photos of us and stuff. But what I will say is that, I also put out some of the not so pretty things, and I share things that may not, that may be relatable to other people. And I think that's really important because there are so many people I know who are looking to start a business, whether it's a side hustle or partnering in the gig economy. And oftentimes it's overwhelming, but my goal is for people to look at me and say, you know what, if she can do this, then so can I. And I like to work with women specifically who say that, who say like, Jamie Lynn, I love what you're doing. I want to have a little bit of that for my life as well. Show me what to do, because then this way to me, that's the biggest compliment. I don't ever want anyone to think like they can't do what I do, because honestly, I'm a hot mess right now and there's nothing special about me. But I believe that if I can be relatable to people, then people will want to, do what I do as well.
Many people believe that blank is the most challenging part of becoming an entrepreneur and or consultant and or starting your own business.
I would probably say rejection
Okay.
because, you know, when you start your own business, when you start talking about something that you're excited about, you have this belief that every single person's going to want to do it with you, right? I mean, I know that I for sure did.
Right.
Um, as I shared, I got started with a nutrition company. I loved the way I was feeling with these products. Like within a few days, I was telling everybody about it. And while a few of my friends said yes, so many said no. And I
Mhm.
just didn't understand that at first.
Mhm.
I was like, what's your problem? Why don't you want to do this with me? It's amazing. Like, I feel so good and you should try it. And then when I went on to share the business opportunity that I have as well, again, I thought everybody wanted to be their own boss. I thought everybody wanted to have an additional stream of income. I thought everybody wanted to have a side hustle. And the
Right.
reality is that's not the case.
Mhm.
And it's hard to swallow that sometimes, especially when you're eager and you're excited and you think like if it's like your own idea, you think you have this great idea.
Mhm.
So I would say rejection is necessary. It's part of life and it's definitely part of building a business.
Mhm.
There's a book out there, Go for No. And, if you keep on pushing to get no's in your business, whatever it is, like you're eventually going to come up with a yes. And it's going to take
Mhm.
a long, long time. And I tell my team that all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, like I just, two people just told me no. I'm like, that's awesome. Keep going. You're so close to a yes. Um,
Right.
and I think, so I think rejection is really important because people think like, the first few no's that they get, it's not a good idea or this isn't going to work. And the reality is you're just not talking to the right people and or enough.
Mhm. Mhm. Totally agree. No's are super, super hard. Even after being in business, and I've been in business for over a decade or more, they're still hard to digest.
Mhm.
However, it's becoming a little easier because I feel like that no today for me really means it wasn't a good fit. So whatever it is, it just certainly was not a good fit or not meant for me. And it makes it easier to go on and seek that opportunity that is for me.
Absolutely. Or no, it's just not yet, like
Right,
not right
right.
now. Yep.
That too. Yeah. What are your challenges with marketing? And I'll ask this in a two-part question. So, one, do you engage in marketing? I guess let's start there. And two, what kinds of marketing do you engage in?
Mm. Okay, great. So as I mentioned, I am in the network marketing industry, right? So when I first started, it's called network marketing. And so it's taking something that you love, a product, anything, right? And sharing it with your network.
Mhm.
And so I did that. I did it belly to belly. I did it face to face. This was all while I was still working my full-time job. And then when I decided to really like treat this more like a part-time business versus a hobby, I started to take my ideas and my posts to social media.
Mhm.
And so I will tell you that while I worked, and I still really work belly to belly in terms of meeting people and connecting with people organically when out and about doing life, which I think is the best way to market yourself.
Mhm.
I believe so strongly that social media is such a great like way for people to get to know you and like you and trust you a little bit more. So primarily all of my marketing is done on social media. I don't pay for any other types of marketing at this point. It's sharing on my personal page. I do have a Facebook group where I pour love into the members of my group.
Mhm.
I'm active on Instagram as well. But one of the things that you and I talked about a little bit is the fact that like, I put myself out there, it's raw, it's real. And that's the way that I market myself.
Mhm.
With that being said, I will say that there were many ways that I did marketing bad in the beginning. Like I probably could have used you and your services, right? But like I was just a hot mess and I was like selling out there on social media. And one of the things that I think is really important for people to understand is that for the most part, people are not coming to social media to buy something.
Mhm.
At least they weren't, and things are changing a little bit. But when people put out pictures of products to sell or something like that, it just feels like weird, right? I personally believe in sharing like emotional stories or how can people relate to how I feel, or sharing by lifestyle versus selling by product. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you're definitely right. So now it's more about just like you said, sharing emotions, sharing a story, sharing personal photos, not even stock photos anymore. but sharing really genuine photos and really genuine stories um, will typically get you more engagement, more interest, more follows than, again, pushing your product the way you would have, say, 10, 15 years ago. Um, but it is starting to turn just a little bit where people are searching for products online as certain platforms start to offer shopping online. The only challenge is really trust at this point. So to your point earlier, you mentioned really gaining people's trust. If you can get people to trust you, and if you can deliver a quality product or service, I think you have 90% of the battle won.
Absolutely. And especially with, with this day and age where, people are, looking for things and just kind of like scrolling on social media. There could be somebody, there could be 3 or 4 people in your news feed who do exactly what I do. But
Mhm.
you and I have met each other. We have a relationship. We're getting to know each other. When the timing is right, if you like what I do, you might come to me. Right. And
Right.
that's really what it's all about, because there are so many different types of people. There's so many fish out there in every single industry and every single product line. How can you differentiate yourself is key.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Most of the people who follow you or a lot of the people who follow someone who provides a service or product, probably they do have the same service or product, but it may be in a different capacity. It may be, your product may have, I don't know, glitter in it instead of someone else who has, jewels in there. So I think everyone has their own special spin on it, or at least I would hope, on what they offer, whether a service or a product. So it's all about how you stand out and what you deliver different from your competitors.
Totally agree.
Um, so do you feel, and I know you mentioned social media earlier in our conversation, do you believe social media is necessary to succeed in business today?
Hmm. I do. I do believe that it is. I believe that social media is just such a powerful tool. It's fun. It's a way to interact. It's a way to engage. I absolutely love the ability to go live, on the spot, whether it's on an Instagram story or a Facebook Live or, in a private online community on Facebook. But I think social media is important because think about it, a few years ago, it was like an email list, right? Everyone had to have an email list and, people were reading your emails and that's it. Like they were going to be your customer, right? Things
Uh-huh.
are changing now. If I look at emails like it's work, when I sit down, like to see what's going on, when I sit down to do my emails, it feels like it's work and I just kind of have to plow through it. But when I go on social media, it's fun. And sometimes I might see pictures of my nephew and then I'll see something that you might be doing. And
Right.
it feels more natural. So yeah, I do believe no matter what business it is that you're in, I think having some sort of social media presence is so, so important. And I have found a lot of value in creating like smaller knit communities and groups. And that is just a really great tool that we have been using lately that has been working really well.
Mhm. Yes, and you're definitely on the right track with that. So Facebook groups and other social media groups are becoming very huge. And what better way than to gather all of the people who have the same interest in one space, and either share your story and or sometimes share your products, share your sale. Um, it has opened the door to almost making marketing that much easier because you don't have to go seek and find. They're all kind of like right there in that little tight knit group. Um, so I truly appreciate Facebook groups and other groups. It makes my job a lot easier most of the time.
Yes, totally agree.
Um, so I'm going to put you to work just a little bit. So if you met me today and you had the opportunity to sell me on what it is that you do, what would be your sales pitch to me?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. There are so many different ways I really share what it is that I do.
Mhm.
But what I can tell you is, I am a former fashion retailer and I was so passionate about what I did in my career. But as my priorities shifted, I really found myself looking for something different. I was looking for more fulfillment. I was looking for a way to contribute financially to my family, but to also have a career, have a drive, and have a passion in what I do. So at the time, I was introduced to a nutrition company by a girlfriend of mine, because I was also at the same time looking to kick the coffee habit, slide back into my skinny jeans, and feel confident in my own skin again. So it was like these two perfect worlds collided. I said yes to both. And here I am, 6 years later, and I'm so grateful, to be living the life that I have completely tailor-made for myself. And what it does is it provides me energy, it provides me fuel, it provides me a healthy balance, but it also allows me to be at home for my three daughters when they need me the most. And as a result, I have been able to, way more than exceed what I was making in my corporate America job for the last 6 years, year over year over year. And I am able to show other people how to do the same thing. So it's no longer just about me. It's about connecting with the women who want more out of life. The mom who so desperately wants to be at home with her child. The mom who wants to, lose a few pounds so that she can run outside with her kids, after school. So I help women to tailor make their own life. And some people come to me just for nutrition. Some people come to me just for, a cleanse or a detox. And some people come to me for the business opportunity, and they meet people where they are. I really enjoy working with people to help with their health. And I also really love helping to show women how to design a life where they can, kind of call the shots and build a business, whether it's a side business or a full-time business from home.
Nice. I'm sold. Really sold. You made that sound so inviting, and so I can check that off my wish list.
Yeah.
But I certainly understand. The reason why I got into business, certainly for myself, was because of the children and the flexibility. They all play sports, and you want to have that opportunity to grow with them and to experience different things with them. And I certainly could not find the time working a 40-hour-a-week job, and giving 40 hours a week to my children as well. So I completely understand that for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through
So many.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll just end with, the fact that there are so many women out there who are looking, and men, of course, too, but
Yeah.
people who are looking for other solutions, people who are absolutely looking for a way to make a change in their life. And the way we work is changing rapidly by the day. And people are looking for places where they can come and get started, get to work, but with minimal investment and something that they can do on their own terms, on their own time. And there are a lot of opportunities, and that's, I love being one of the opportunities. I always welcome the opportunity to, to connect with other people who might just want to see what we're up to.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And you are absolutely right in saying that it's changing right before our eyes, and there are still some people who are fighting it, and not willing to embrace the change itself that has already occurred, and they're still no, we don't want to go in that direction. So the change is here, and I think it's only a generation away before it becomes a way of work life.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree.
So I have some rapid fire questions, much easier than your sales pitch. What do you wish you had known when you started out?
That it wasn't always going to be massive momentum and massive success.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because when I got started, I was very blessed. I had great momentum and great success, fast and quick, and I brought a lot of people along with me. And what happened was, sometimes things kind of slow down a little bit, and that's normal business. There are peaks and valleys in every single business. And so I think, now I understand that. I think beforehand I didn't. I just thought I was, going to be this gazillionaire in 2 years, So I think that it's understanding that there are always ebbs and flows in business. And if you can recognize that happens everywhere for everyone, then it's okay to understand. It's okay to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally understand that. And that's very important for people to understand that there are actual peaks and valleys. and they are as high and as low as they sound, um, and that you just have to adjust when need be. So if people could understand that, I think a lot of people would succeed more at
Mhm.
working for themselves, and not always take it personal when the valleys hit.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so what's something that you failed at that you would like to prevent others from failing at?
Mm. Oh my goodness. I feel like I fail all the time. Every single day, always learning it. In fact, I said that to my daughter not too long ago. I was like, listen, mommy makes mistakes all the time. And she was like, you do? And I was like, yes, of course. I think we have to share that more, that
Right,
we
right.
make mistakes along the way. Um, I think, and this is might only be applicable for my business. Actually, no, this could be applicable for any business. I
Mhm,
think a mistake that I've made before, and unfortunately, it's one that I still make. So I am not perfect. I'm a progress. Is I want things more for people than they want them for themselves.
mhm, mhm,
So when I have somebody get started with me and they're a new business builder and they're like, Jamie Lynn, I'm all in, I'm ready to do this, and they're excited, and then something happens and they don't necessarily keep moving forward with the energy that they said they were going to bring to their business. I want it bad for them, because at that point they've shared with me their why and they told me why they want to do this. And it's pretty emotional and I'm excited for them. And I know the possibilities. I know the possibilities of showing them what it looks like to create an extra 500, 1,000, 5,000 or more, a month, right, for them. Um,
mhm,
so I want it more for people than they want it for themselves. And that it could apply to anybody. If you're working with a client, and you think that they're going to hire you or that you think they're going to get started and they don't.
mhm,
So I think it's just like not wanting it too more for people than they want it for themselves. And in addition to that, this kind of goes along with it. But one of my very first mentors in my business told me, she said, don't get too high with the highs and don't get too low with the lows.
mhm.
And that kind of goes back to what we just talked about too. It's like, there are going to be highs and it's going to be amazing. And then there are going to be lows, but don't stay there too long. Don't get too caught up in that because, you have to keep moving forward.
I agree. I agree. The forward motion is much more important than the highs and the lows, um, because if at any point you stop, that's pretty much where you will stay.
Yes, for sure.
Um, so yeah, forward motion is always most important with any business, whether it's successful or whether it's struggling or you're still trying to figure it out. So I totally agree with that as well. Um, is there something that you would like to share that perhaps I did not ask about, something you can share with someone to save them a little headache or to keep them going?
I think I would just say, like, if there's something that's on your heart, if you are currently a business owner and you're struggling, reach out and ask for help, find some accountability partners. That is such a big piece of what makes me successful, or keeps me moving when I might be frustrated is like a mastermind group that I'm a part of. There are just some really good friends of mine in my business and we are together all the time online chatting and supporting each other. So I would say there's that. I would say find accountability. And I would say, just don't give up on what you want to do. Because I know that there are times that it might be hard in business, but by all means, like if you're in the right vehicle, like if you believe you're doing the right thing, if you
Mhm.
believe there's serious opportunity in your business or the company that you're partnered with, like the sky is the limit. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Jamie, it has been a pleasure speaking with you today. I do appreciate you taking time out of, I'm sure, your busy day to join me on the First Marketing Matters. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. If you could share with our audience, how can people reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the best way to find me is either on Facebook or Instagram. So my name is Jamie Lynn Curley. It's Jaime, Jamie Lynn Curley. And you can find me on Facebook, follow me there, or you can follow me on Instagram. And I do have, Tiffany, I want to make sure that I share, I do have that private online community that I was talking about. It's
Mhm.
called the confidence catwalk. As we talked about, confidence is so important in every area of life. And so the confidence catwalk is a private online community just for women. And we come together, we chat about all things confidence. So sometimes it's about health, sometimes it's about family, sometimes it's about business, sometimes it's just, it depends on whatever we want to talk about. Today we're talking about if we were stranded on an island, what are the 3 things we would need to have, you know? So it's just a fun place to come. And that's called the Confidence Catwalk. So you can come on over there and join us there if you like as well.
Very nice. Thank you again, Jamie. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Tiffany. It was great to be here.
Have a good day.
You too.